Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Hope Valley has always been a place of renewal, forgiveness, and faith, but as 2025 unfolds, that quiet little town finds itself at a crossroads like never before. The new season of When Calls the Heart has entered a chapter that feels both familiar and shockingly unpredictable. While Elizabeth Thornton continues to balance her devotion to her students with her growing affection for Nathan. A series of new arrivals and emotional reckonings will push everyone in town to their limits. The episode opens with Hope Valley awakening to the first blush of spring. Flowers are blooming, the air feels lighter, but there is an uneasy sense beneath the calm. Elizabeth steps out onto her porch, a letter trembling in her hand. It's sealed with an unfamiliar emblem. Not from Nathan, not from Lucas, but from someone she hasn't heard from in years. Her face softens as she reads, but her expression soon shifts to confusion, then concern. The letter speaks of a family secret, long buried, something connected to her late husband, Jack. As Elizabeth struggles to make sense of the words, Nathan arrives, his usual confidence shadowed by worry. The Mounties' horse, Newton, returned from a nearby patrol without him for the first time in days, leading the town into a mild panic. But Nathan explains that a small landslide near Benson Valley has cut off travel routes. He's safe, but he's uneasy not just about the terrain, but about the increasing number of strangers drifting through Hope Valley. Among these newcomers is a man named Silas Grant, a quiet, scholarly type who claims to be researching the history of the region for a book. Yet his questions go beyond the casual. He asks about the old mining company, about Abigail's brief time as mayor, and even about the schoolhouse itself. Rosemary senses something off right away, and as editor of the Valley Voice, she starts to dig into Silas's background. Her discoveries could reshape everything. Meanwhile, Lee has been given an offer he can't easily dismiss. A railway company wants to buy a portion of his sawmill land to build a new supply line. The promise of modern prosperity tempts him, but he knows it would change the heart of Hope Valley forever. Rosemary, torn between ambition and loyalty, finds herself caught in a quiet war between progress and preservation. In another corner of town, Joseph and Minnie Canfield receive unexpected visitors, a pair of missionaries from the north who claim to have known Joseph's brother many years ago. Their arrival stirs old wounds and family mysteries that Joseph thought were laid to rest. Their presence also introduces tension within the church. As differing beliefs and methods of ministry begin to divide the congregation, Minnie, ever the peacemaker, struggles to hold the community together as faith itself becomes tested. While all of this unfolds, Elizabeth's son, little Jack, is growing too fast. The boy's curious questions about his father leave Elizabeth torn between the truth and the protection of innocence. She confides in Nathan, who gently encourages her to share the stories of Jack's bravery, not his loss. Their conversation is quiet but charged with something deeper, a feeling they've both kept hidden for too long. But before those emotions can surface, a town council meeting erupts into chaos. The railway proposal divides the townsfolk sharply. Some, like Mike Hickam, see opportunity. Others, like Bill Avery, see danger. The meeting ends with raised voices, broken trust, and a decision postponed, but the cracks in Hope Valley's unity have begun to show. Bill, ever the cautious lawman, starts to suspect that Silas Grant's arrival might not be coincidental. When he digs deeper, he discovers that Silas once worked for the same mining company responsible for the disaster that nearly destroyed Hope Valley years ago. But what Bill doesn't expect is that Silas is not there for revenge. He's there seeking redemption. He reveals that he lost his wife in that tragedy and has returned to uncover what truly happened, believing there was a cover-up that might still involve people in town. As the tension rises, Elizabeth receives another letter, this one unsigned. It warns her not to trust Silas and suggests that someone close to her has been hiding a painful truth about Jack's death. Shaken, she turns to Nathan, who promises to protect her no matter what, but she can see that even he harbors doubts. For the first time in a long while, Elizabeth feels unsafe in her own home. Rosemary and Lee, Meanwhile, uncover old mining records that suggest Silas is telling the truth. The company's books were altered, payments erased, and names changed, including one that stands out: a man named Charles Kensington, who once oversaw the mine operations and vanished right after the explosion. The shocking twist: a photograph in Silas's possession reveals Charles standing beside a young Jack Thornton, smiling, unaware that tragedy was looming. This discovery reignites Elizabeth's grief. Could her late husband have been connected to the very men responsible for the town's greatest sorrow? She refuses to believe it, but doubts begin to gnaw at her. Nathan tries to reassure her, but even he struggles to make sense of the growing mystery. The emotional weight pushes both of them closer, their bond strengthened by trust, yet haunted by the ghosts of the past. Elsewhere, Faith Carter finds herself at a professional crossroads. The arrival of a new doctor from Union City, Dr. Evelyn Crow, challenges Faith's methods and decisions. Evelyn is bold, modern, and unafraid to question tradition, but her presence also sparks jealousy and tension. Carson Shepard's name lingers in every conversation, and Faith can't help wondering if she made the right choice when she let him go. Evelyn, meanwhile, seems to have a mysterious history with Carson herself, suggesting there's more to her arrival than anyone knows. Back at the schoolhouse, Elizabeth tries to maintain normalcy for her students, but whispers of trouble in town spread fast. The children sense the worry in their teacher's eyes, and little Jack, ever perceptive, starts asking questions about the man with the letters. Elizabeth assures him everything is fine, but she's far from certain. Then comes the night that changes everything. A fire breaks out in the livery stable, threatening to spread to the town square. The townspeople rally together. Nathan leads the effort, while Bill and Lee coordinate the rescue. Amid the chaos, Silas is seen rushing into the flames to save someone. When the smoke clears, he emerges badly burned but alive, carrying a small locked box. Inside are old documents, proof of the mining company's corruption, and evidence that a few officials escaped justice years ago. Among the papers is one final bombshell: a letter written by Jack Thornton himself, addressed to Elizabeth, but never sent. It reveals that before his final mission, Jack had discovered something troubling: a connection between his assignment and the same corrupt company. He feared for the safety of Hope Valley, but believed that by accepting his post, he could protect the town he loved. His last words, written with trembling ink, read, "If I fall, let them know I fell for the truth." Elizabeth reads the letter with tears streaming down her face. The town gathers around her, their grief renewed, but their spirits united. For the first time, Hope Valley learns the full truth of its past, and in doing so, begins to heal. Nathan stands quietly beside Elizabeth, watching her strength, admiring the way she turns pain into hope. When she finally looks up at him, there's a quiet understanding between them, something more profound than words. Their journey isn't over. It's just beginning. Meanwhile, Rosemary pens the story of Hope Valley's redemption for the Valley Voice. Her article, titled simply "The Light Returns," becomes a message of faith and perseverance that reaches beyond the town. Lee decides not to sell the mill, choosing instead to invest in rebuilding the community's spirit rather than chasing wealth. Bill reopens old investigations, promising that justice, no matter how delayed, will finally be served. Faith and Dr. Evelyn find common ground, realizing they both want the same thing: to help the people of Hope Valley heal. Minnie organizes a town gathering where everyone comes together under the stars. Laughter, tears, and forgiveness fill the air as the townsfolk celebrate not just survival, but rebirth. As the episode closes, Elizabeth stands on the bridge overlooking the valley, her heart both heavy and hopeful. Nathan approaches quietly, his presence steady and sure. They don't speak, they don't have to. The fireflies dance around them, and in that soft, silent glow, something unspoken finally settles between them. Love, real and enduring. But just as peace begins to return, the sound of a carriage breaks the stillness. A new figure steps out, a woman in a dark cloak, her face hidden. She carries a worn journal and a locket engraved with the initials JT. The moment Elizabeth sees it, her breath catches. Could it be Jack's sister? Or someone claiming to be? The screen fades to black, leaving Hope Valley once again on the edge of discovery, where love, mystery, and faith intertwine. Because in Hope Valley, every ending is simply the beginning of another story, and the next chapter promises to be the most heart-stirring yet.